Hiya, it's Deputy Prime Minister, proud Northerner and Basic Instinct enthusiast Angela Rayner, and welcome to another No-Brainer with Angela Rayner. Now, as you can see, I am still here in my underground bunker. I am by myself now. Our Sadiq went yesterday to do the remembrance ceremony, and our David has now gone because enough time has gone by since the emergence of his previous ex-post where he was slagging off President Trump, and our Keir just felt it's time he can come out now and get on with things again. And to be honest, none of us were getting on particularly very well because our Yvette very kindly came over with a care package, just with like some Febreze and a few tins, and she very kindly put in Hungry Hippos because she felt that we were probably getting a little bit bored of playing Kaplunk and Pictionary, which we were, and so we thought that was really nice. I set it up and we sat down to play, and then David kicked off and said, "This is a really racist game." And I said, "What? How is it racist, David?" And he said, "Well, look at the balls, they're all white." So he just kicked off, and then nobody wanted to play after that. So I was quite happy to see the back of both of them, to be honest, because they were doing my head in. Also, our Keir said that I was not allowed to go back to my mate's house, which was all above board. I had declared it, and it was because, unfortunately, some old footage had emerged at the end of last week of me back in 2020 talking about President Trump, where I called him an absolute buffoon, said he had no place in the White House, that he was an embarrassment and that he should be ashamed of himself.
Donald Trump is killing, thousands of Americans by giving them duff advice, and his macho, "I'm all right, look at me, I've survived COVID," is an absolute buffoon. He has no place in the White House. He's an embarrassment, and he should be ashamed of himself, especially when thousands of Americans have died. COVID is a serious disease. It's a serious pandemic. People have died, loved ones have died, and he's an absolute disgrace. And so is Boris Johnson for not being able to even know his own rules. I think they're both idiots, and we deserve better than them.
And in my defence, they'd caught me on a bad day. They really had. I just had to listen to Boris saying some ridiculous nonsense about washing your hands and singing happy birthday. And the night before, I'd been stood on my doorstep banging pots and pans for the NHS, and I got an headache and I wasn't in the mood, and somebody just asked me a question and I just exploded. It was just one of those things. But of course, the far-right adjacent news channels like Talk TV and GB News had to run with it, didn't they? They had to run with it because they like to cause trouble between us Labours and the next President of the United States of America. I mean, I thought you were supposed to love your country, so I don't know why you're causing trouble like that. It was ridiculous. It was 4 years ago. It doesn't matter anymore. It was said, it was done, it was dusted. I've said it, I can't unsay it. So why are you living in the past? That was 4 years ago. 4 years. And you're still bringing it. Who lives in the past like that and brings up stuff from years ago? It's just so typical of you lot to do that. And anyway, our relationship with the US is fantastic and will remain so. Our Keir allowed me to have a phone call down in the bunker with the next Vice President, J.D. Vance. And we had an absolutely brilliant phone call where I said, "Look, we've got some stuff in common." And he said, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, we're both deputies. And that is true. And we're both from working class backgrounds." And he said, "There you go. That's fantastic. And that's a good place to start." And I said, "Absolutely." I said, "When you come over to the UK, you can come round to mine for your tea." And he said, "What, I don't really drink tea." But I said, no, not drinking tea, but like food tea, like your dinner. You can come to mine for your dinner. And he said, "Oh, that's nice. What would we have?" And I said, "Whatever's in the freezer, probably, I don't know, maybe some Finder's crispy pancakes and chips." And he said, "That's a strange combination." And then I realised afterwards that he was speaking American and I was speaking English, and chips is not the same thing to the country. So it was a bit, no wonder he was a bit confused. But now that's something for me to work on. And I know that is a conversation that I just need to correct. And it's all about correcting yourself. And I can do that. So I can make up for things that I've said in the past. and I can make it all right. So I don't know why you have to keep banging on about it. Our relationship with the USA is going from strength to strength, just like us Labours are going from strength to strength. I'll see you again on another no-brainer with Angela Rayner. And the night before, I've been stood on my doorstep banging pots and pans for the NHS